Hello, welcome back to Orchard Farm. My name is Quentin, and today we are doing some harvesting. We are, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be finishing this wheat field today. Am I cutting the corn? Am I cutting the straw? No. For some reason, the global positioning satellite told me to move over a bit in this line, but I'm not entirely sure why. But it did. So, we are doing the straw harvest today. We've got the New Holland 110, the straw harvest, the wheat harvest. We have the New Holland 110-90 with the Massey Ferguson trailer on the back, waiting for a load of wheat. What I think we're going to do here is go up to that point there to our left now and work on that kind of corner here to our left. And then move up the field and do the top area. And then move back over to this side of the field and work over there. Just to cut down on the amount of problems we'll have. So let's get over here. Without hitting anything, please, Quentin. There we go. Turn in here. Nice tight turn. Get lined up. With the global positioning satellite turned on. And we are harvesting. So we're going to get... Would it not make more sense to do the top half of the field first? Because that will be the longest drive. Yes. Change of plan. We're going to do the top area of the field first. Then we are going to come back down the field and work the bottom area. So we're going to do this top area here to the right, then that top area over there to the left, then come back down the field and start on the right and move over to the left, or start on the left and move over to the right, whichever catches my fancy, because I think we should be perhaps removing 2 or 3 more trailer loads of wheat, and that will be the harvest fully completed. Wow, I can barely see the straw being left behind, but I'm sure, yes, there is straw being left behind by this, which is good. It would be rather much of a shame if there was not. And hopefully we will get around to baling the straw into round bales before we run into any issues. Obviously we will need to sell some of these bales, as we do have that £65,000 loan outstanding that I was not 100% aware of. So that's going to be an issue. But I think the larger problem is we need to get these fields harvested. I've given Bubba a phone call, and he said he is getting the first flight back from Spain. So hopefully when we move on to other fields he can run the harvester, because most of the other fields that require harvesting right now are quite a distance from the yard, so we will basically be on full-time carting duty over and back to the yard. May need to get Alistair in as well, because it is going to be a process of just ensuring that all the crops have in fact made it to the yard and to the storage shed. I should probably just stop for a moment and deal with a minor issue I have run into. But I should continue, or I shall continue, and yes, I have, for some reason the global positioning satellites have moved exactly where I am by a few feet, so that is there's going to be a slight problem with where the crop actually is. I do apologize. I had an itch on the back of my head that I needed to scratch. And obviously I've got the GoPro camera mounted to my head, so whenever I move it like this, you can see the viewpoint changing. We are doing well here. 3/4 of the tank is full at this point of those lovely wheat beans. There we go. And hopefully we will not fill up before we reach the top end of the field and start coming back on our downward path, because we don't actually have, well, magical floaty tires that allow us to drive on the crop without causing damage. So the hope here, just so I'm clear and succinct, is to finish this area of the field, or at least get onto the path that we're coming down to, where the left of where we are right now. 83% full and increasing. This is going to be a tight call. It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. 87, 88, we should be good. So if we can get onto the path that's directly to the left of where we are now, then the pipe will be out over this area where we're passing over, and yes, good, fantastic. And we can get the tractor up in beside the harvester. The issue otherwise would have been getting the harvester pulled out of the lane and so that the pipe wasn't over the crop, and that would have been a hassle. 95%, 96, yes, we should be good to unload here. 99, 100%, and just move back a bit. Now we just get the trailer under the pipe, over the pipe. That would be quite an achievement, involving several ramps and quite a lot of wood or metal to cope with the weight. But under the pipe shall do very nicely. Would probably involve magnets, actually. And levitation. So that's the combine filling the trailer. If we just hop on top of the tractor here, you can see the grain, the wheat going into the trailer from the combine harvester. And if I were to hop up the back of the combine here, you can see the wheat leaving the combine going into the trailer. And that's it, nearly empty, so let's just hop down. Ow. And get back in. Head off once again. There we go. Our main concern here is keeping the New Holland off the grass. Because if we can keep it off the grass, then we won't have any off the grass, off the crop. I don't particularly care for the grass. In fact, I may bring the grasshopper around and pick the grass up. Or get some sort of mower that can be used as a topping function to rid ourselves of the field grass here, which is something I probably should have done before starting the harvest, but it's something that definitely would need to be done now for sure, just to keep the grass under control so it doesn't grow out of control and start taking over the field. Oh dear, this is not going at all to plan. It is a lovely warm day, the temperature is in the 20s. We are making good progress through the field. I think our intention should be to not have an issue whereby we need to sell any more crops for the time being, at least. If we can keep the crops in storage for now until we've got possibly 1 or 2 more fields done, then we can start selling for hopefully a good price. Because obviously we don't want to flood the market right now, and we're still harvesting and storing our crop up. In an ideal world scenario, there'll be a great demand the second that I finish the final field, and we won't need to worry about money anymore. Or we'll at least get the £65,000 that we require to pay off the loan. That would be the ideal case scenario, and I don't see that happening. How are we doing here with the harvest? And the straw in particular. We're doing quite well. And we're in. Did I miss a bit there? I don't know. This is quite a tedious process, so I'm going to see if Baba or Alistair will help me out with the future fields, so that I only need to perhaps even just run the combine or cart the crops to and from the field. Why would I want to cart them to the field? Cart the trailer to and from the field and haul the crops away. If I were to hit that button there. Now we should, in theory, be able to lift the header up independently of power. Yes, we can. That is fantastic. So I was looking into the combines that we could hire, and I felt that a 25-foot header was more than enough for this farm. I could have gone the next step up with Mazzy Ferguson and gone for a 35-foot header, or even gone with one of the big boys with a 45-foot header. I felt like this was the correct match between efficiency and cost, because obviously cost would have been an issue as well, and this I think is a good compromise. It gives us the speed of going through the crops with a large combine with a decent carrying capacity, as well as the nimbleness of a smaller combine, maybe of not quite of half the size, but of a smaller size, and should allow us to be reasonably maneuverable going around the between fields. Now, I do quite enjoy watching the wheat stalks and straw and crop go into the header like that. It does look rather good, doesn't it? But our concern and our priority should be on getting everything stored up and getting the best price we can get for our crop. We're what, 78% full. We should be able to, if we're nearly full at the end of this row, we will be over 80%. If we're over, let me think, 78 is 22 away. For 89% or more, so into the 90s, our best bet will be to stop here, grab the trailer, and yes, we will need to stop here at the end of this line and grab the trailer just to unload, to ensure that I don't have to try and drive on the crop. So there is our 89%, our halfway point between where we were and 100%. And yes, there was 20-something% of a fill, which means our best bet is to walk over here and grab the trailer. We do also at some point need to work on felling the trees, That is, of course, a concern of mine, is the forest needs work, and I'm going to potentially need to get some heavy equipment in for that. I think a chainsaw is slightly, well, not good enough. So possibly a something like a Pontius Scorpion and a wheel loader and a lorry. This trailer should fill up nicely. While it's filling, I'm going to grab a drink very quickly. Ah, sparkling French mineral water. Just what the doctor ordered on a day like today. So, that's the trailer full. Away we go now to the storage bin. Our fuel gauge is still showing mostly full, and our timer is now showing 000005. So we have owned this tractor for half an hour or so. It has been powered on for half an hour or so, and hopefully we will see it tick over at some point into the next number. In theory it should actually tick over while we're driving it here, so that we can I suppose, yes, it should actually tick over, because we'll be driving it here for a couple of minutes, and I think it's every 6 minutes is 0.1 of an hour, so that should tick over while we're on the move here. Hopefully, because I would like to see it tick over myself. That is the trailer unloaded. So off we go back to the yard. This has a better turning circle than the Zetor. This, as it turns out, was a wise investment. Now, I will, of course, need to grab all the equipment over at the shop at some point and bring it over to the yard. I think I can get them to deliver it, and I think the best place to get it delivered will be that grass field there, just so that it's there. Is that it ticking over? No. That was an illusion caused by the white on the speedometer, or revometer, or whatever you want to call it. There we go. What I'll do is I'll empty the rest of the harvester while we're up there. I'm genuinely curious about seeing this thing turn over to 000006 to see how it happens and how quickly it flips. It is almost definitely not a distance measurement facility, as I have driven at least 0.1 of a mile and definitely a few hundred meters. So that's the combine unloaded once again, and we are not going to get to see it tick over. Last. Oh well. On to more pressing matters. The harvest itself. The timer in that new wand I will undoubtedly see tick over at some point soon. We will use that to bale with the class baler. So we will get to see it tick over, it's just we're not going to get to see it now. So our plans are actually to, I suppose, start clearing up the farm, because I haven't really been willing to say this. We never actually owned this farm. I've been claiming it and I've been saying it. We never actually owned it. We've been working the farm for this year on behalf of the actual owner, my brother, Alistair. And that's why he showed up a while back when I was doing the silage and was driving the Opel. The Opel is ours. Alistair has a Maserati, which he refuses to bring anywhere. Except when he goes on holiday to the south of Spain for a year, which is exactly where he's been. And he's coming back this winter. So, unfortunately, this is going to be this isn't going to be much longer. Alistair wants to take back the farm and take the vehicles back. He has, however, appreciated the modernization attempt. I've been speaking with him on all the decisions I've made. He appreciates the new tractors, although I haven't quite told him yet that I've bought the New Holland, and that's my tractor, although I spent farm money on it. That's what he gets for getting me to run his farm. But yes, we unfortunately are running out of time here, and I'll be moving to Thornton full time to help Dave out with his farm and move into what I suppose would be a more comfortable position after the harvest is done and all the crops are sold off or stored up. I think they're going to be stored up. But yes, we will be moving full-time to Thornton, or I will, very soon. And Orchard, unfortunately, is not and never has been my farm. I have been claiming that it was, and it is our family farm, as is Ventonwyn. Ventonwyn is a few miles up the road, but it's, yes. This was never my farm. This has always been Ellie's. And I apologize for misleading you. I truly do. But Dave has been impressed with the work that I've put in on this farm, and he said that I can make one video per week on Thornton and any farm we move to in the future. Despite the fact that I did mislead him as well, he was also under the impression that I owned this farm, when in fact it was, and always has been Alistair's. So I do feel I need to apologize to you fine folk for the misdirection. I feel terrible, but at the same time it was nice to pretend that I owned a farm at the very least. But yes, I never did own this farm. I liked the idea of it. I used to own Ventonwyn, obviously. That was the farm given to me, and Ali got Orchard Farm, which, because he's the little brother, and he has many business commitments and quite a lot of investments. He got the small farm, which I believe he gets somebody else to run it every year because he can afford to do that, because he's a multimillionaire. He's much better at business than me, so he has quite a bit of money. And to cut a long story short, he also doesn't have the whole gambling addiction thing going on. To cut a long story short, I'll be moving off Orchard Farm soon, moving back to Thornton, and one video a week on Thornton will be mine. Dave said that I can occasionally do streams for him on Thornton, but on a full-time basis. I will be working there on a full-time basis as opposed to working here full-time and showing up on Thornton when the mood strikes or when Dave particularly needs me, like I'll be doing with the harvest. Now, I haven't actually told Dave just yet that I don't own this farm. In fact, I don't plan on telling him until I get over there with the harvester. In fact, I don't know how to tell him at all. I trust him, but I feel so terrible for lying to him. He is a genuinely good friend of mine, and I believe he would say it sucks that I've fallen into a lie and a routine of lying with him. So I don't know how I'm going to tell him. I don't know how he's going to react, and I don't know what to do per se, but something will be done, and he will find out the truth, and hopefully he'll understand, because he knows I like the idea of owning a farm. But this was not my farm and never will be. So I do apologize for that. I really don't know what else to say. I feel like these last few weeks and months when I've been making these videos, you know, I've been living a lie, and I don't know how to make it up to you folks, because you've shown me nothing but support in what I've been doing here, and what you've got in return has been a pack of lies. So I don't quite know what to say. I think it's probably best if I stop recording for now. I'll be back next week at some point with more videos from here, but until then I leave you by saying I've been Quentin. You've been watching the this video here on my brother Alistair's farm, Orchard Farm. I hope you can see it in your hearts to forgive me. But until I see you again, if I see you again after this, pip pip and cheerio.